A diplomatic rift has clearly emerged between two unlikely adversaries, Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu and Australia's Anthony Albanese, prime ministers of both countries. Thanks to you guys for correcting my pronunciation. Damn it.
From the air.
One take. My pronunciation of Albanese or Albanese. Damn it, I messed it up again. All right. What started as policy disagreements between Australia and Israel has exploded into personal attacks. And we're going to discuss the analysis. I'm going to give the analysis, obviously. I've been doing this for 800 plus videos. Why am I still struggling? Israel's Prime Minister appears frustrated that Australia has exercised its right to decide its own policy positions rather than blindly deferring to the Israeli stance on everything. Earlier this month, hundreds of thousands, by some reports, of Australians flooded Sydney. Crikey! They filled the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge to call upon Australia to take action against Israel for crimes against humanity in Gaza. Do something, for God's sake, to our government. Basically, they were directing their complaints. Do something other than help the state that is the aggressor, please. Now, likely connected to that demonstration by a huge swathe of the Australian citizenry, last week, what happened was Australia made a historic decision to recognize Palestine's statehood at an upcoming UN General Assembly meeting, September, joining France, UK, and Canada in making this move, pledging to recognize Palestine next month. Potentially, some other Western countries will join them. Now, Netanyahu's response was swift and brutal. He said, quote, "History will remember Albanese for what he is, a weak politician who betrayed Israel and abandoned Australia's Jews." Who talked about Jews? But Australia isn't of the culture to quietly, politely hear something ridiculous, something they disagree with, and stay silent. Have you met Australians? I can think of a few choice words that I won't share, which I think many Australians might have for Netanyahu. Australia hit back hard. Home Affairs Minister of Australia, Tony Burke, fired back saying strength isn't measured, quote, by how many people you can blow up or how many children you can leave hungry, end quote. Ooh, it's a low blow. Or is it? It's just a straight blow. The low blow is what Israel is doing, one could argue. Anyway, the diplomatic spat, the back and forth now, the pokes escalated when Australia banned Israeli far-right politician Simcha Rothman from entering the country. And Israel immediately retaliated by revoking visas for Australian diplomats to the Palestinian Authority. So just to clarify, the Palestinian Authority is in the West Bank. What even the Western countries say one day will be a Palestinian state, right? But because Israel, say it with me, occupies the West Bank, literally, that's the facts on the ground. Because they occupy the West Bank, they're trying even more. They're trying annexation, which means take full control, de facto control, ideally, de jure control, ideally, but they haven't really pulled the trigger on that yet. So they occupy the West Bank. So Australian diplomats to negotiate or to engage in any capacity diplomatically with the Palestinian Authority have to go through Israel's bureaucratic imbroglio, Israel's bureaucratic mechanism. And so Israel said, we're going to stop you from talking to the Palestinian Authority completely. Netanyahu even said Hamas has praised the decision made by Albanese to recognize a Palestinian state. So Netanyahu's framing is, wow, look at you guys, you agree with Hamas, so you must be on the side of evil, right? Otherwise the evil guys wouldn't be cheering for your decision. But further investigation by some news outlets, such as Al Jazeera, known for their quality journalism and, generally speaking, reliable objectivity, their journalism, their investigations show that the Hamas official that Netanyahu claimed made those statements praising Australia, turns out Hamas denied their guy making those statements. They say, our guy didn't say that. Where is the guy? Factually now, not what Israel says, what Hamas says. Factually, where is the guy? He's in an Israeli jail. He's in jail. So Israel said, a Hamas official praised Albanese, but the man they said made the praise is in Israeli custody and is confirmed by Al Jazeera and other news outlets that man has not had access to media to make statements like this on Hamas's behalf. He can barely contact his own family members reliably. And Hamas deny making any such statements from their group about Australia or any decision Albanese has made. So Israel basically started trashing Australia because they've decided, we're going to pick a foreign policy position that aligns with our citizenry and our state's priorities. And we're not going to just blindly pick whatever Israel wants. And Israel got upset and started insulting them further. And Australia started pushing back. They're not taking it lying down. Some could say they're not making it Albanese on the Israelis. They're really struggling, the Israeli state, because globally the narrative has shifted, and for millions of people, the veil has been lifted. Yes, I'm a poet and I don't even know it. The veil's been lifted, and the facts look a long way off from the picture that the Israeli state has spent decades painting. Their grand narrative is so far off the reality on the ground, and it's very, very hard to convince people who can bust out their phones and look at what's happening and then Israel saying something else. It's very hard for the Israeli state to fight with their narrative when literally hundreds of organizations across the globe have said we can make a confirmed statement that what these guys are saying, hasbara, propaganda, lies, okay? Just it's completely different on the ground. It's very hard for them to fight. The hasbara is not working on the people as well as it did before the advent of social media, before the advent of the internet. So it's more like has bye-bye now. Can't believe I wrote that joke. Oh, you can tell I'm a dad. These dad jokes are unprecedented. Now, this unprecedented public feud between traditional allies Australia and Israel revealed just how impactful these last 2 years have been for the geopolitics of the world. For 2 years, Gaza has been going through a crisis, but in the heat of that hardship and struggle and crisis, in the heat, so much of the Western world's geopolitical framing and positioning with regards to Israel and Palestine, it's being reforged like a weapon being melted down and remade in a, what is it, a blacksmith? A smith? Smithery? Smith? For the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz and I'll see you on the next one. God, I really need to work on those analogies.